Welcome to the Be Well at USASK podcast. My name's Peter Headley. I serve as a Director of Student Affairs and Services at the university. This podcast is for all members of the University of Saskatchewan community. Each week, members of the USASK community will join me to share ideas and provide guidance on all aspects of being well, and we'll be highlighting campus initiatives and resources designed to engage and support you. In these changing times, we hope the ideas and information we share will help. In this episode, I'm going to be talking to Elizabeth Waslen and Evan Seebach, who are student coordinators for the USASK Peer Health program, which is part of the Student Wellness Centre. As part of our series of episodes focusing on mental health during Mental Health Week in May 2020, we're going to be talking about what the Peer Health program involves, how it supports USASK students' health and well-being, and how students can get involved. Well, welcome to the podcast, Elizabeth and Evan. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for having us.
So can you start off by telling me about what programs you're doing and perhaps what life looks like for you right now? Elizabeth, perhaps you can start.
So I'm studying social work at the University of Regina, but at the U of S campus. And my life right now kind of looks like most students. All my classes have been put online and just been staying inside most of the time, getting out to places where there aren't as many people so I could spend some time outside, but it's definitely not normal.
And how about you, Evan?
So I just finished my 4-year degree in physics, and now I'm just kind of waiting to hear back from my application to the College of Medicine here at the U of S. So kind of exciting times for me.
So as a little bit of a plug for that, just to see if they're listening.
Exactly.
And so what about yourself? What does life look like for you right now?
It's pretty calm right now. Not really doing much, of course, with the whole self-isolation kind of thing, but just taking it in stride and doing everything that we can to kind of stay sane during these difficult times.
Yeah, absolutely. So you've both still involved and have been involved with the Peer Health program at the university for a while. So Evan, what can you tell me about the program and how it supports USASK students' health and well-being?
Yeah, so the Peer Health is a student-led health initiative that works in partnership with the Student Wellness Centre. And we are an opportunity for students to get involved, work together with other like-minded students, and provide health outreach information through various campaigns on the U of S campus. And really, at our core at Peer Health, we rely on peer-to-peer communication and connections to share health information and positive behaviors with others. And it shows that sharing peer-to-peer is a very successful way to deliver this information. Now, when it comes to some of the campaigns we run on a yearly basis, we have lots of things, including the Mental Health Awareness Week, the STI Testing Blitz. We have cooking classes, and also during finals, we always run the nap room as well. And we have so many more events and campaigns that we run as well.
Did you want to add anything to that, Elizabeth?
Just that the different campaigns and health topics we focus on are ones that students have identified as being things that they're interested in. So not only are students reaching out and helping students, but in the same way, students are reaching back to us and letting us know what it is that they're actually needing or what they're looking for.
And so I know you've been involved very much in the mental wellness group for a while, and this week is actually Mental Health Week. Do you think it means it's a different Mental Health Week this year compared to in the past?
Oh, for sure. I think often Mental Health Week, people really focus on the mental illness aspect of it, or think that that's really what it's about. But mental health is something that everybody has to deal with. And I think right now, in the times that we're living in, that's especially obvious.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think people have come to realize that mental health affects everyone at this time, which is not to say that everyone's mental health was wonderful before this started, but really just thinking, much more about mental health. So under normal circumstances, Elizabeth, typically where would students find peer health, sort of online, in person, or how could students get involved in a normal situation?
So in a normal circumstance, you could find us in our office, which is Marquis 104. It's right across from the main university bookstore. We're also out and about, usually in the arts tunnel or in the arts building or health science, doing some kind of event, you could find us there. But in this day and age, you can find us online on Instagram and on Facebook. Our handles are the same, Peer Health USASK. And there you can find a lot of information about ways to help yourself right now, or what resources are available to you and how to access them.
That's great. And so I was going to ask about that, and maybe it's a question for you, Evan. How are you noticing that other fellow students are coping right now, and how has that meant that you've adapted your approach to meet those changing needs?
Yeah, this is a very unusual time, so Peer Health has really had to step up to this challenge. And every student kind of copes in a situation like this in their own unique way. So no two students really are the same. So it's important for Peer Health to cover a wide range of student needs during this time. So to do this, all of our health information has moved online to our Facebook and Instagram. And there we are posting daily about ways to stay safe, ways to keep busy during this time to kind of keep your mind off of what is kind of going on. We are posting stuff like cooking recipes, ways to be active, and even some just fun things like what to watch on various streaming services. We also have links to online workshops and much, much more.
And do you think that this current situation is actually presenting some opportunities for better mental health, so people taking up hobbies and doing that kind of thing? What are you noticing about what people are doing with their time, Elizabeth?
I am noticing that people are taking this opportunity to pick up a hobby that maybe they've been wanting to do for a while, or get back into an exercise regime or something that they've kind of put off because of school. And I think that that's really great, because at least until finals were over, people were able to do both things at the same time and be able to recognize that it is possible to engage in activities that are good for my mental well-being and do bring me some relaxation and some mindfulness, but be able to do it while also going to school.
And do you have any observations about that, Evan?
Yeah, I think it just really comes down to where kind of students are at right now, and really be giving this great opportunity to really see what they do like to do. So a lot of people are picking up hobbies that maybe they didn't have time for during the term, or maybe even connecting with people they haven't in a long time, whether that's over video chat or just over the phone.
Yeah. Are you noticing anything interesting about the etiquette involved with video chatting that you didn't notice before, particularly with multiple people?
Probably just how difficult it is to make sure you're not talking over each other.
Yeah, well, I was talking about this in another episode about people trying to be mindful about not cutting people off, and hopefully that might be something we would take back into everyday life. So looking ahead towards the fall term, I know that none of us has a glass ball to tell us exactly what will happen around the modal delivery for programs for the term. But whatever approach is decided, we'll have students registering and continuing their programs. How will students be able to get involved in peer health, whether that's virtually or in person? And how do you think we can go about building student community in a virtual context?
Well, we always do a call out for volunteers in the fall, which we will advertise on PAWS, Facebook, and our Instagram. Now, we've been talking about doing something like that in the summer, but have it be virtually, where we run some of the campaigns that we would usually do in person on campus, but do it online. And if we're unable to do classes and be on campus in person in the fall, that's probably what we'll do starting in September.
Did you want to add anything, Evan?
When it comes to what we're kind of looking like for the fall, it really is going to depend on what kind of the situation is. I know for this summer, we're kind of looking at having some digital meetups. And so if things kind of continue, we might be looking at doing similar programming come the fall. But other than that, yeah, more information regarding if people want to volunteer with Peer Health, kind of the best place to look are either on PAWS or our Facebook, Instagram pages.
Yeah, that's great. And, you mentioned your Instagram, and it's something that I follow because I want to be up to date as to what you're doing. And I've really appreciated some of the campaigns. I know recently you've been sharing information about the practitioners from the Wellness Centre and the fact they're still available and where they are, and also they're human beings, and featuring them in pictures with their dogs and family members. I really appreciated that. I also really appreciated earlier in the year, there was an initiative that you did, sort of spinning off ones from before, about humans of USASK. I just wondered if you could just perhaps touch upon that for me and maybe describe what it is for listeners and what that was all about, because I thought it was a really, really impressive little campaign on Instagram.
So Humans of USASK was actually started by our mental wellness facilitator, Roha. It was an initiative that she brought to me and she really spearheaded. And her idea in that was to put a face to mental health and mental health concerns with students and have them share either anonymously or have their face posted with a little blurb about what their mental health journey has been or how they've been able to find some stability or some relief in that. And I think it was really powerful. And I heard from many different people just how much they appreciated seeing that there are other people that they might just pass by every day that are going through some of the things that they are also experiencing. And it just really helped, I think, most of our campus feel a little less isolated and a little bit more like a community.
Yeah, the thing I particularly appreciate about it was people's, it seems a shame to say bravery to actually speak out. But Evan, do you think there still remains, even your generation, a stigma around mental health issues and actually talking about them openly and perhaps accessing support?
I think it's definitely gotten a lot better. And I think our generation has really embraced the idea of breaking the stigma. But there still does exist a little bit of that stigma, talking with people. It's not the first thing that people always want to bring up. It's always still hidden behind the curtains a little bit. And so really Peer Health is a great way for us to show other students, especially on campus, that it's okay to talk about these things and there is a lot of support and it's completely okay. There's nothing wrong about it. And we just want to allow people to be open and not scared to be able to share this information.
Yeah, that's great. And I agree with you about your generation. I think it's way, way better than it was. And I think we're moving in the right direction. And actually, one of the things I was going to add, one of the things I'm proudest of with the Peer Health program, of which I'm very proud overall, is that we're currently undertaking a project to share our peer health model with, I think it's 5 other Saskatchewan institutions, because we do see the power and the effectiveness of a peer-to-peer model. And I know that Shiny, who's leading that project, has agreed to come and talk to me in another episode about that. So I'm looking forward to that. So I'm asking all of my guests to share one thing they're doing right now themselves to be well, perhaps something that brings them joy or a sense of connection. Elizabeth, what's that one thing for you right now, and how do you find it's helping?
So one thing I've been doing is getting back into some arts and crafts, I guess you could say, getting back in touch with my kindergarten self. But I've recently, my roommates are moving out and they were taking most of their furniture with them, and I'm left with not a whole lot and not really a lot of ability to go out and buy some new things. So I've started building some of my own furniture, and it's been a really great project to take on, and it really requires physical and mental concentration. And
what are you building? That's amazing.
Well, nothing too incredible. A shoe rack. I think I've got plans for a TV stand. Right now I'm making a rug. Yeah.
That's great. I remember years ago when my parents moved house, there was a bunch of shelves, old, genuinely old wooden shelves in the garage, and I made a CD rack out of them. And I still have it today, but there's no CDs on it, such as the world has changed. But
oh no!
I keep contemplating taking it apart and turning it into something else, just because of how cool the bits of wood are. How about you, Evan? What are you doing for the moment to be well?
Yeah, since finals have ended, the one thing I've been doing a lot more of is cooking and baking. Getting on that train with everyone else. And I find it's just such a relaxing time that just allows me to focus on that one thing that I'm making at a time. All other things in life just go away at that point. And really just focus on creating something delicious. And what is better than actually getting that reward at the end of it and being able to have it and enjoy it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I know thousands of other people have the same idea, because we've been struggling to get flour in our household from the store. So, yeah. So is there a final thought that you'd want to leave listeners with? Evan, maybe you first.
Yeah, I think Peer Health is just a great place to volunteer. If any of our listeners are thinking, I wonder if Peer Health is right for me. You'll meet lots of wonderful students, a lot of like-minded students, It's a great way to gain leadership experience, learn about student concerns, and also just, it looks awesome on a resume as well. And a lot of people that have gone through peer health have been successful, whether it's in a professional college or just other aspects of their education.
Yeah, that's great. How about you, Elizabeth?
Well, I totally agree with what Evan said. And all I would add to that is keep an eye out on PAWS as well as our Facebook and Instagram. We will be posting about volunteer opportunities coming up right away. So if you're interested in volunteering with us, keep a lookout and then get in contact.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think it's just such a great supportive student community, much more than anything else. And as I think we probably mentioned, in normal times at the Community Centre in Marquis Hall at the university, and I'm sure we'll be back there before too long. Well, listen, guys, thank you so much for taking the time to be with me today.
Thanks for having us, Peter.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Be Well at USASK podcast with me, Peter Headley, and thanks again to Elizabeth and Evan for joining me and sharing. USASK students can connect with Peer Health online as discussed. The relevant contact details and links are in the podcast details. And as I also mentioned, we're very proud that the University of Saskatchewan Peer Health is partnering with the Saskatchewan Ministry of Health to share our peer health model with 5 other Saskatchewan post-secondary institutions, a project which one of our USASK and Peer Health alumni, Shiny Chowdhury, is leading. Shiny will be joining me in a future episode to talk about this project. Please check in again for further episodes and more content related to being well. Please subscribe and share this podcast. You can find us on multiple platforms, including YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. We'd also love to hear from you, so please post comments and questions, and we'll look to include them in future episodes. Also, if there's a person you'd like to see as a guest or a topic you'd like us to cover, please let us know. In the next episode, I'm going to be talking to Evan King, a registered social worker providing mental health support at the USASK Student Wellness Centre. Evan and I are going to be exploring concerns about how substance use seems to have become a key coping strategy for many during this period of social isolation, as well as what mindful strategies around substance use look like. So until next time, stay safe and be well.